Well, hello again. We're finally back to our one corner balance. I've got it de-rusted and stripped down the way I want it. Finally, it took forever, and that piece welded in that had broken. That broken weld has been repaired, such as I could do. You know, I'm not very good at that. Anyway, I went ahead and hit it real heavy with this rusty metal primer for heavily rusted metal. Now the reason I use this stuff is it was recommended by our good Northern Yankee subscriber here in Arkansas. His name is Johnny U. He said he and his son used it on his RV or something. He said they just went ahead and sprayed it. It's supposed to be heavily rusted metal, and that's what they used it for. And I'm going to be putting another coat of primer on this afterwards. So I just said to heck with it. I showered down on it. I've even got runs in it. I don't care. It doesn't matter because this is the inside, and it will ultimately be covered with undercoating. So the more paint, the merrier is the way I look at it. The more primer, if it'll keep it from rusting. And you can see right here where there were lots of dents where some body putty had been laid in, and lots of little peck marks over here where they pecked it back out and put body putty on the other side of it too. So I don't know where that was done. It was done at the factory, done by a body man. I don't know. Don't care. We're going to go ahead and go with it. But right now I've got plenty of runs, plenty of good heavy. I didn't spare the horses. Matter of fact, the can is almost empty. And that's the way I wanted it. So once we put the next layer of primer on and then go ahead and put the undercoating over it, it'll look sweet. It'll look good. While the other side is hardening up, it's already dried, but we're going to go ahead and let it harden up for another hour or so. I'll stick it out in the sun before the day's over. I'm going to go ahead and put a light coat of the self-sealing, or self-etching rather, primer, the gray stuff on this side here. Especially around these areas that need filling. You can see how much extra filler they put in here. All it needed was just a little bit in the center and maybe a small area here, but they went way out here. Alright, let me finish this side up and we'll let it dry. Alright, I've got some 400 grit wet dry sandpaper here. I'm going to go ahead and sand it down and see where I need to put some filler. That's this same stuff I used before, this glazing and spot putty. I thought I might give you a little idea on how I do this stuff. You see this edge right here, all the way down around. If I can get a little, let me get a little closer in there, maybe it'll be a lot better. Okay, you see that line that runs along there, runs all the way up over to there. Now it did run all the way out to here too. Now what I'm going to do is I like to use these here. I have a 4 and a 600 grit, this sponge stuff here, but you don't press down on it till the sponge collapses. You don't do that. You let the sponge stay flat for this kind of work here. Just let it go back over about the weight of your hand. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to feather out this edge, and I've already feathered out the top. You can't even see where it was. Stay away from the middle. Feather the edges out, okay? I took a lot of that body putty off that was not needed, and we're down to the basic now, down to the short hairs, as we always say. And now I'm going to just go ahead and take this thing. I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to keep working that up until I get this entire thing feathered out. I'll show you when we're done. And like I said, not a whole lot of pressure. It takes time. Got to be patient. Alright, there we go. I've got it all feathered out. You can't even see where the edge was now. It's all feathered in except for that light colored body putty. Anyway, look at all these grind marks here. I don't think this was done at the factory. This looks like it was done by some body man a while back. They just did a quick grind, a quick slab on it, just quick sand, and they covered it up with probably thick primer. They hit it with some paint. And, when I first got this off the car, I could see where there was thicker looking blob marks where there was maybe something underneath. I didn't know what it was. But when I started taking it down, it sure popped its head up quick. So I've got this one, this one, this one, and this one here I think I can leave. Once I got the putty off and smoothed it out, we can leave that one. So I got 3 areas to cover. And I'm going to go ahead and put on the finishing putty, and then we're going to go out to the Thunderbird and look up under the dash, go over the wiring and whatever else is under there that I want to show you. Before I go out to show you what's underneath the dash of my Thunderbird, just know that 3 years ago on the Vintage Thunderbird Repair, Nick Pepe's channel, he was restoring a Thelma and Louise car, convertible, you know, that movie, same color and everything. And he did a lot of videos on what now this looks like brand new, a brand new cable bundle to me that he purchased. You can get these reproduction, and this one is in such great shape. It just seems to me that it's a repro, but maybe not. You know, he may have bought it brand new for his customer. He was working on a customer's car. Anyway, he went through the entire thing. It's a 18-minute video. So if what I tell you, what's under mine, doesn't make any sense, you can go ahead and look at his and compare the two, and you'll probably see more of what you need with his than mine. Stuff like these little connectors here, these plastic things that you put the wire looms in, the wire bundles in. This is very neatly done. This is the way I want mine to look when it's over. Don't pay attention to this right here. It's just there to hold the dash up so you can video. Now there's another video too. Let me see if I can find it. Now this is the video he put up that shows, you know, the firewall and the layout of the vacuum lines and your vacuum motors is what they call them, and your connectors and what goes back to the console and a few other things. He does a very good job here. Tells you what each one goes to. He's got them color coded. Tells you why they're color coded. It's really a good deal. He's got them very neatly done. So those two videos, you need to look at those if you've not seen them, and compare it to what I have. Of course, again, look how clean, and it just looks like a brand new setup. He had just laid in all the vacuum lines. So go ahead and watch both of them. I'll put the links below this video so you can watch them as many times as you want. It can be, it'd be a little confusing in the beginning. So, but the more you watch it, the easier it gets. And then with what I say in mine, hopefully it will help you even more. Alright, looking at my dash now, this is the front of the dash is over here. It'll be like you sitting behind a steering wheel looking this way, because this is the radio grill and everything else. And the air vent, the air comes up through there for your defrosters and all that. Anyway, about midway is where your wire bundle is. It'll go across here that you'll find on your dash. It just kind of goes midway. This is only one of the two main cable bundles. Okay, you've got your connectors at both ends, and this is all the stuff that goes through the dash and connects to the clock and whatever else. I don't know. I bundled it all together so I'd know what it was. I didn't have to use all my different colored wire ties. I was kind of happy about that. However, I do have some, looks like I had some Mises in here. They chewed up on this wire. They chewed up on this wire, and the green wire. So I got, and you can see that the bare wire is right down to the bare wire. So, and over here I got the same problem. It looks like the little Mises came in here and decided to take a little taste, and they didn't like what they tasted. They didn't, lucky me, they didn't go very far with it. Anyway, easy fixes. You know, you strip back all the all this tape. It's got this black electrical tape on it. Okay, strip it all back. Find the ends that are good. Clip it out. Splice a new wire in. Put some heat shrink. Put your heat shrink on first. Splice your wire in. Solder it in. Then shrink it down. Good to go. Everything's fixed. This one here is also messed up. Looks like he chewed a little bit on this baby here. I don't know about this one. Anyway, whatever I find, that's what I'll do. I'll just clip the old wire out, solder new in. Now this little puppy here is kind of interesting where the location is. I think that's the constant voltage relay that controls the voltage going to the, your gauge cluster up here. Up in here, it fits up in here. This is the the driver's side of the dash. And they mounted it there. But it's interesting because I told you about Andy up in Seattle who sent me a bunch of car parts. He sent me a gauge cluster, and this relay is attached to the side of the cluster up here. It's just bolted. I'll show you that later at a later date, but I don't know if this I like this position better. It's a whole lot easier to get to, but it's just wires that go up and plug in. Alright, the first thing I'm going to be doing is removing this black box you see down here. This is your heater, actually mine and yours if you have a car like this. It's your heater coil. And I'll be taking it out. I have a brand new heater coil I'll be putting in. And we have different controls here for vacuum. I don't really know what that's for, but I'll find out later. Again, I will be looking at Nick's video, he did a very good job. You know, he's the guy, his video is the one to look at, and then kind of look over at mine and say, gee, poor John, look at the mess he's got. But basically all you've got here is you've got electrical wires and you've got, these are the wires right here coming back all the way to the rear of the car to the headlights and everything. These down here, these are all vacuum lines. I just kind of pulled them over to the side and set them. And then you've got electrical wires. Now look at the mess up here. Jeez, this is the air. This is the air. Wow, God, bellows or whatever you want to call it. This is going to have to look at mouse turds everywhere. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness. I'd say, you know, without a doubt, there's been a mess in here. I'm going to vacuum this all out, clean it all up. It's got a couple of tears, like here. But, you know, this is just like fixing... once I get it out and get it cleaned up, I'll know more. But it's just a matter of, you know, like fixing radio speakers. I got an awful lot of tears in here. Look at these. I will be using dryer cloth. If I'm able to do it, I'll be using dryer cloth to repair those. Because dryer cloth, once it's used, that cloth is so tough. It's almost like silk span that we used to use on the wings of model airplanes we used to have as a kid. It is so tough. You know, using coffee filters and stuff like that and tissue to repair a speaker, to go with the dryer cloth. Much stronger, much tougher. Now let's see what we got over here. Look at the mess in there. Ooh, that looks really bad too. Man alive. I'll get a little better focus here for you, I think. There we go. Look at that. I'm going to have to clog that when this thing comes out. And then once the first thing I'm going to do though is check the, what they call the vacuum motors. You got one there. Got one over there. And there's a couple more floating around here somewhere. I'll have to find them and then check them out. I'll just be putting my vacuum, my Mighty Max, Mighty, whatever it is. There's another one right there, down in there. It's a squeeze thing. And you don't want to take that, you don't want to put too much vacuum on them. You know, you just kind of take it up a little bit. However, Nick said, look, you know, it's kind of crazy to check them out and say, oh, well, they're fine. What you need to do is change them now. Because if they turn out not to be fine, can you imagine what it's going to be like getting up here to get to this one? But I warn you, or forewarn you, they are available, but they are not cheap. Okay, that's the kind of thing you got to save your nickels and dimes for. And fortunately, I have enough saved nickels and dimes, I think. Maybe I can get them all at once. I don't know. We shall see. So that's what I'm looking at right here. I got all kinds of... I don't see any other chewed up wires, fortunately. I don't see any at all, but all this will be cleaned out. You know how I am. I'm kind of obsessed with that sort of thing, you know. There's a term for that. I can't remember what. Then I got a broken wire here, 2 broken wires. What do they go to? Haven't the foggiest idea. We shall worry about this at a later date. Okay? So if you've got, if yours is in a lot better shape than mine, good for you. Good for you. There's even wires over there. I don't know what they go to. I guess they go to the, it looks like speaker wires, and something else goes through there. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Anyway, there is a bundle of wires, as you can see here, up at the top. This thing here, it goes through here. I don't know what goes through here. I thought this thing here goes in there, but I guess not. Anyway, it comes across. There's another one. Something goes in there. I got to figure that one out. But the bundle, so you only have 2 main bundles. The one I showed you previously, and then this main bundle, which comes across in that plastic thing right there. Comes across, comes across, comes across. It's not that complicated. Every one of you can figure this out. You just got to take your time, as long as you got plenty of guidance and guys like me and guys like Nick that can answer your questions. We don't mind answering your questions. Before I go back in, to finish up the video and get it edited and everything. I figured while I'm out here, the temperature's not getting any warmer, I better just go ahead and paint these now. I painted them white a while back so I could more easily cover both sides with the Wimbledon white because it's so expensive. So let me go ahead and get that painted before I head back in the house. By the way, this is a whole new different can and a whole new different nozzle. I'm really glad to see that. The other one, the nozzle kept clogging up all the time. The other can and everything, I was constantly down there complaining. Alright, that looks a whole lot better. I like that. Both sides look like this. They look really, really good. Okay, and you know, it's great to paint that white first and then go over it with the Wimbledon white. It covers so much easier. Alright, let's get back to the piece of metal we've been messing with. I sanded down this one little spot, and you can see it's nice and smooth except for one little area. I just took a little bit on the end of the spatula here thing, and I just a touch on the end of it. I just kind of raked it over. I want to get that out of there. Meanwhile, I started on this. Now, when it comes time to sand, this stuff sands really easy, real easy. I mean, and what I'm doing is I'm not even putting any pressure on this thing at all, just hardly the weight of my hand, because it is on a curved surface. You got to be careful. Actually, you don't have to be careful. I mean, if it doesn't turn out right, you just pull out the old tube and do it again, you know. We don't worry about such things. You know, you just take your time. If it doesn't turn out right the first time, well, we do it again. And if it doesn't turn out after 10 times, then we do it 11, okay? I'm just going to smooth this stuff down. Like I said, there's almost no sanding at all involved. It's so easy. So let me work on this for a while, see if I can end the video up by showing you, you know, the results. Just nice, very light pressure, very light. Alright, last but not least for today, I'm putting some of this, what is this stuff called? This is really great. I really like it. This Rust-Oleum 2X Ultra Cover Paint and Primer. This is very good stuff. It's a little more expensive, but it's very, very good. And I'm going to go ahead and put that on there, finish up the whole thing. I've got everything taped off that I don't want to be painted black. And then once I'm done, we'll go ahead and put the undercoating on, and that'll take care of this. Then I can flip it over, and we'll finish the other side later on. Well, there's the back side, all covered. It's all prime painted and undercoated, and it's got a little overspray from the other side when I painted it, but not that big a deal. Looks really good. I'll probably touch it up just a little bit more from place to place, and I'm not going to do a whole lot more. It's well protected now. Let's look at the other side, and then we'll call this video quits. And there we go. This is the other side. I found out why they put so much extra body filler on these things. And that is, when I got it all the way down, and I did the same thing to the other one, they used a grinding wheel or some kind of grinding disc that really dug into the metal. Just dug it really deep. So they had to fill in a whole bunch of extra filler to cover those, you know. This is one of these deals where they pulled it in, ground it off real quick, slapped on the body filler, primed it, painted it, and got it out and collected their money. But anyway, this looks real good. I'm real happy. It turned out real great. There's still a couple of dents here and there that were in there. I'm like over here. I wasn't going to pound everything out. It's all up underneath the bumper anyway. I could have spent 2 weeks just pounding out the metal where the dents were. And the second one's even worse than this. But they're 1,000% better. Until next time, this is John. I was going to wait until the next video to, you know, put the second valance on, but what the heck, let's just wrap them both up in this video so I don't have to mess with it anymore. But this one is also done. This one turned out very nice. I did not put the paint on overly thick. You know, I just put sort of a thin layer, and then I added a second thin layer. The reason being is these will all be painted again once, you know, the entire car gets painted, if I ever get to that stage. I don't know, but it turned out very nice. The back looks really good again. All the tar and stones and crap and junk are all gone. It's well protected.